Hi, this is Ken here for Big Picture English. Today we're going to spend about 15 minutes looking at the English tense system. We are going to use some timelines to understand the whole tense system. The boxes on this chart have timelines in them. Each timeline shows a different verb tense. These timelines have some symbols on them. You can see that this X is for an action. This line is for a point in time, so that's a short time. And this squiggly line is for a continuous action, an action that continues for some time. This line with an arrow going to the right is a period of time, so that's a longer time. Now look in the middle of these three red circles. Each one has a point in time in the middle. What point in time is that? If you said now or the present, you are correct. Now look at this circle. How many points in time do you see in this circle? If you said 3, 1, 2, 3, you are correct. And there's also a continuous action. This will be important later. Now, let's make a list of what we call the tenses in English. Well, there's present simple and present continuous and present perfect and present perfect continuous and past simple and past continuous, past perfect continuous, future simple, future continuous, future perfect continuous. That's it. Now, here's the hard part. Look at the boxes that have timelines in them. Try to name the tense that each timeline shows. You can start with the top left, where you see an action at a point in time in the past. And I haven't explained the last column, where you see a squiggly line with an arrow, because I think you might be clever enough to figure it out. Okay, try to do it now. Okay, let's see how many you got, starting with the present, and then the past, and then the future. Yes, I know what you're thinking. You're wondering why the future simple is not in the box. Why is it over there? Well, if you get out of that box, I'll explain it. It's not in the box because there is no future simple tense. You see, in grammar, a tense is made by changing the form of the main verb. In other words, the spelling. We don't make tenses by adding other verbs to the main verb, but just by changing the form of the main verb. So, we have the present simple tense, I go to school, and then we can change go to went to make the past simple tense. We cannot change go to make a future simple. We can add will. People say will is the future simple, but will is really just a modal verb. Will is used mostly for the future, but not always. But I will go, I might go, and other modal verbs are also used for the future. And we have other ways of talking about the future because somebody forgot to make a future simple tense. And there you have it. Two tenses in English: past simple, which is for past finished actions at a specific time in the past, and the other tense is present simple, which is for things that are always or usually true. Think about the present simple, not for the present, but for all time. In fact, sometimes actions don't even happen at the present. For example, I play guitar, but you don't hear me playing guitar now, do you? That really wasn't playing. Okay, so if English only has two tenses, then what are all these other things? Well, people call them tenses, and you can call them tenses. I won't tell anyone, but really they are aspects. Aspect means kind or type. So for example, we have past time and present time and future time, but in English grammar, we have different kinds of time in each one. For example, for past time, we have past time that is continuous, and we have past time that is just perfect, and we also have past time which is perfect continuous. So these are called the aspects. Now let's look at the first aspect, which is the continuous aspect. The continuous aspect. If you look at the past continuous, the present continuous, and the future continuous, you can see the same little drawing is on the timeline, it just moves to different times. Look at the three continuous timelines and try to explain what the continuous aspect is about. Remember what the symbols on the timeline mean. Think about it for a few seconds before I give you the answer. The continuous aspect is for continuous actions that happen around a point in time. So they start before the point in time, they continue, they are happening at the point in time, and then they continue more, and then they end after the point in time. They're all the same, the past, the present, and the future continuous. So for example, I'm watching TV now. So I started before now, I'm watching now, and I will continue watching until after now. It's the same with the past continuous. I was eating at 8 a.m. this morning. I started before 8 a.m. At 8 a.m. I was still eating, and then I continued to eat after 8 a.m. It's the same with the future continuous. I will be sleeping at 11 p.m. tonight. That means I will start sleeping before 11 p.m. I will be sleeping at 11 p.m. and then I will wake up quite a few hours after 11 p.m. Okay, now let's look at the perfect aspect. The perfect aspect. Okay, so now you see again for the past, the present, and the future perfect, the drawing is the same. This aspect is a bit harder, but try to guess what this drawing means. Notice that there is no action shown anywhere on the drawings for the perfect aspect. Okay, so the perfect aspect is about things that happen inside of a period of time going up to a point in time. The reason you don't see an action on the timeline is because we don't know when these things happen. We just know they happen sometime inside of the period of time going up to a point in time. For example, I have seen Titanic. No, not the ship, the movie. I'm not that old. Okay, I have seen Titanic. It was at a time between sometime in the past and now. You don't know when I saw the movie. Maybe I saw it 3 years ago. Maybe I just finished watching it before speaking to you now. You don't know. You just know it's somewhere inside that time. If we look at the past perfect, it's similar. By midnight, everyone had left the party. Midnight is that point in time in the past. Sometime before midnight, everyone left the party, but we don't know when. Maybe it was an hour before midnight or a minute before. It's the same with the future perfect. I will have finished it by Monday. The point in time in the future is Monday, and sometime before Monday, I will have finished it, but you don't know when. It could be Sunday morning or Sunday at midnight. Okay, that's the perfect aspect. And now, finally, the perfect continuous aspect. The perfect continuous aspect. Okay, look at these three drawings and see if you can guess what the perfect continuous aspect is all about. Notice that the squiggly line from the continuous aspect is combined with the period of time from the perfect aspect. As the name tells us, the perfect continuous aspect is a combination of the continuous aspect and the perfect aspect. It's for things that happen inside of a period of time, going up to a point, but they continue for the whole time. So first, the present perfect continuous. We have been waiting for 2 hours. We started waiting 2 hours ago and we continued waiting right up till now. The past perfect continuous. At 4 a.m. he had been sleeping for 6 hours. 4 a.m. is the point in time in the past, and the sleeping for 6 hours is the continuous action that went up until 4 a.m. It's the same with the future perfect continuous. By noon, I will have been waiting for 2 hours. So noon is the point in time in the future, and at that time, there will have been 2 hours of me waiting continuously before that. And that's it. Okay, so there was an office building and there was a dog walking on the street. Yeah, I know, but you'll like this one, especially the ending. Just wait. Okay, so the dog was walking on the street and the dog saw a sign on the door of the office building, and the sign said, "Office worker needed. Applicants must type 100 words per minute and have computer skills and speak a second language." So the dog grabbed the sign in his mouth and he walked into the office building. He went right into the manager's office. The manager saw the dog with the sign in his mouth and started laughing. But then the manager thought, well, the dog is here and I have nothing else to do. So the manager said, "Okay, you're here. Let's see what you can do. Can you type 100 words a minute?" And the dog jumped up on the desk and started typing really quickly. The manager was really impressed. So he said, "Okay, you can type, but can you do anything else with a computer?" And the dog started doing amazing things on the computer. The manager didn't even know what he was doing most of the time. So then the manager said, Okay, but can you speak a second language?" And the dog said, and that's it. Make sure you check out more of our videos for improving your English by looking at the big picture at Big Picture English, our YouTube channel.